opponent is Sheriff Calvin Hayden. I think, oh, I saw, there he is.
That's kind of hard to follow up with. I'm not going to talk like a machine gun. I'm just going to try to tell you a story.
That's fast.
Just so you guys know, I didn't want to be here. I don't want anything to do with elections. I'm a cop. But I had numerous people come in and complain to us about elections. And some are here in this room today. The reason that I'm here is because I asked them to go to the Secretary of State's office and nobody would address their concerns. I sent them to the Attorney General's office. Nobody would address their concerns. I took an oath to uphold the laws and the Constitution of the state of Kansas, and when people feel that the law is being violated, we're going to investigate it, and we're still investigating it. It's the most complicated, convoluted thing I've ever seen in my life. It's a conundrum, and nobody knows how all the connections work. We spent millions of dollars in this thing, and it is sad. The situation. I have never seen a lack of transparency in my life. We can do homicide investigations a lot simpler than this. I've invested a lot of time and a lot of effort into this. Been called every name of the book and an election denier and everything else, and all we're trying to find is the truth. And that's darn hard to find with this system. Again, the complaints were sent to everyone. We've identified over 15 different statutory violations. The problem is, not a district attorney is going to touch this because they've seen how I've been railed on with the news and the Star and everybody else called all these names. Nobody wants to touch this, especially during an election year. So nobody wants to take the heat. I'm going to take the heat. I don't care. The problem is we have a number of statutes that cannot be prosecuted because there's no criminal penalties here. None. So if you've got a statute and there's no criminal penalty to it, as law enforcement, it's worthless as the paper it's written on. We need some criminal penalties in these statutes to hold people accountable. I have had county attorneys at me, coming at me when we try to do the investigation. We can get nowhere. You can't get a search warrant, can't do anything. And then if you try to get in the computers to find out we spent $16 million on to lease, you can't get there because they think it's a proprietary secret. That's wrong. What I'm asking for is this should be a totally transparent process. It should be easy. It should be simple. We cast our vote, and it's counted. You know, we counted $500,000 with a little machine that cost $7,000. We ran all this money, it was bills. We got it from a cartel member. And this made me think, we got about 500,000 voters in Johnson County, although our voter rolls say over 700,000. And I've got a brother on there that hasn't lived in Johnson County for 18 years, and he's still on our voter rolls. But we took those and we ran it through a machine. And that little machine for $7,000 took a picture of that bill, recorded the serial numbers, validated if it was real or false, and we could also send out the serial numbers nationwide to see if it was used in drug activity. $7,000. We paid $16 million, and the way they're settling elections in Johnson County is you come up with two numbers and then they negotiate. We'll take yours. That's good. That's not acceptable. I get audited for everything I do. I got guys wearing body cameras so we can defend every action we take. I swore to uphold the law. I don't understand why the Secretaries of State office can get away with violating statutes and nobody holds them accountable. That's wrong. If I have to conform to state statutes, so should they. That's all I've got. I'll stand for any questions.
Okay, thank you, Calvin. Appreciate it.